Nitro Is The Glory. Welcome to the No Name RC podcast with your host tonight, Keenan White, aka Lefty the Great, and if you are unlucky, the Finnish village idiot, JQ. This is the RC podcast with no name, but plenty of content. So sit back, relax, and get ready for some serious bench racing.
Yes. Nitro is the glory, but E-Buggy pays the bills. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode number 135 of the No Name RC podcast. I'm your host, Keenan White, a.k.a. Lefty the Great. And yeah, this is kind of a different type of vibe this week. What happened was we had the Driven episode number 3, Storm Before the Calm. It debuted this week, so we kind of watched that. I already had watched it, but I watched it again to make sure it wasn't something else already there. And then Max and I got on and did a live, and we had David Isherwood, the owner of RCGP, come on and take a phone call with us and talk about it. And then we went into, we answered people. It was fun. It was actually, we was only supposed to do it for an hour. And then we ended up being on there for an hour and 45 minutes and just interacting with the viewers that were there. Thank you to everybody that joined us. It was great on Facebook and YouTube. We kind of did it early in the, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, so it wasn't that many people on. People were still at work. And thank you to David for his time for coming on. So I decided to make this a podcast because Tuesday I got sick and I don't know what happened, man. I was just really sick to my stomach, projectile vomiting. Woke up Tuesday morning like that and felt better in the afternoon and didn't get back to 100% to the next day. So I was supposed to record Tuesday. I missed that appointment, obviously, before being sick. And then I had another guest lined up, and it just didn't work out this week. And sometimes that happens. Don't worry, we will be back next week. Sorry to the patrons, you guys didn't get any early release this week. I do apologize for that. But just, life happened with that, the guests and all that, and then I have guests lined up for next week. So it's just the story of doing a podcast live. So I just decided to take the audio from this because it was a really great chat with Max and David and just interacting with the people in the group. If you want to watch this, it doesn't have this intro, obviously, but it's in the live videos on the YouTube channel, which I hope you guys can help me get up to 1,500 subs, or at like 1,330. Be great if you could get up to 1,500 subs by the end of summer. I think I'll do a giveaway for 1,500 subs. I got a plaque I want to give away. So hit that notification button. Help me get to 1,500 subs. So I just added this audio, and I wanted to just give you guys an explanation to why we didn't have a podcast. And that's it. We were doing these. Racing's hot and heavy. We're enjoying that. We'll probably be, and to be honest, Max and I touched on a lot of topics on this podcast. On this live, like the E-Nationals, Mayfield, all this type of stuff. It was just fun. So here's the audio from all of that. And I just wanted to give you guys an explanation and say thank you to everybody for the continued support of the No Name RC podcast. It's incredible. We're coming up on 3 years of doing this, and we're still growing, and it's so good. We can't do this without you guys, the listeners who support us and share and listen and tune in. And it's not always just about that. We're trying to we're trying to help be a part of some change in our industry and just get people thinking in a different way. And it seems to be working, and that means a lot to me, especially because it means people are listening to some of the stuff. Some of the stuff we just rant about, and maybe we shouldn't, maybe I don't think there's ever been a rant that we haven't ranted that I think we shouldn't have. I think we rant, but we come up with solutions. Anyway, I'm not trying to go on for a ramble. I'm just trying to say thank you guys. I can't say anything with just one sentence. Thank you guys for everything. I greatly appreciate the support. Thank you to the patrons of the NNRC. I greatly appreciate you guys' support. You make things so much easier. Help keep these bills paid, not just here in the studio, but at home, which is desperately needed. RC doesn't pay well. So thank you to you guys. If you ever wish to be a patron, the link is in the written description. Also, you see in the written description, it's like Linktree. If you see that, you just click on that. That has all my links for all the sponsors, all the Patreon, all the YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, all that stuff. It's just under one link. It just looks a little neater. So just click on there. if you want to follow any of the links that are attached to the podcast. And I have to shout out to obviously to the awesome sponsors of the podcast. They are Mayako. I know everybody's getting anxious about the Mayako car. I'm hearing end of August, so it's everybody wants to see it. But, good things come to those who wait. TNR Fuels, thank you to them. Fuel made by racers for racers. Check out Chris Nelson if you're interested in getting some TNR Fuels. Beach RC, thank you to Brenton Lucas for all the support. Big time supporter and long time supporter of the podcast. If you guys can use our affiliate link, it really helps us out greatly. Appreciate that. Hitec RCD, they've come on. Hopefully next week I'm going to have the guy Mike from Hitec on, and we're going to talk a little bit about this company. It's been around for a long time. Let's find out about it. Thank you to them. Greatly appreciate their support. Techno RC, thank you for all the support. The Techno Takeover, man, they got a great team. It's going to be interesting to see if they can get a big win this year. Not too many big races left, but I mean big races like big races. So let's see what they do. Thank you for their support. JQ Racing, shout out to all my JQ Racing family. Love you guys like life. I know we're getting smaller, but don't worry. We're coming back. We're like babies, kids. We don't die, we multiply. Sun City RC Raceway, you guys got a race coming up. USRC is going there soon. Ryan Lutz is coming there. So if you guys are in the mood to go to a USRC race and hang out with Ryan Lutz, you can go and hang out with the SCRC crew. Check them out. It's in August 13th. I think the weekend of August 13th, 14th. Lugs Racing Tires. Hey, Lugs Racing Tires. People are trying them. They're liking them. Go get you some. You can go to www.lugsracing.com. Use the promo code NNRC Lugs in all caps, and you will save some money off your order. Show them some love. Those guys are working hard. Manscaped.com. Remember, everybody, Manscaped's been with us for a long time. They'll continue with us, so I guess we're doing some right. I guess you guys are out there manscaping. Thank you for all of that. Check them out. Remember, www.manscaped.com. Promo code no name in all caps. Save 20% off your order. Cut through the jungle to find your manhood. And yeah. I guess you guys are doing that. So thank you. I appreciate that. Papa Willie's Traction Tonic, longtime supporter. Check out Scooter. He's got some good stuff going. He's always making some new stuff. He's got some lubricants and stuff going as well. If you don't need any tire sauce, but some of the best tire sauce on the market, use promo code NNRC and you will save 10% off your order. Racecraft USA, get pitted with a command module. Guys are, I love chasing them guys. They're killing it. More and more people are getting these awesome command modules. They're modifying them. Check them out. Get yourself one. Use promo code NNRC squad. Yeah, that's what that one is in all caps, and you'll save 10% off your order. Hey, we got some promo codes for you guys. We finally got some good ones for you going on her. We got more, so I hope you guys just use them. And shout out to Wally Builds, House of RC, RCGP, and just everybody that supports this podcast, man. Honestly, we can't do it without you guys. All the people that help us out, all the people that listen, that pay attention, listen to us ramble. Thank you. Thank you to Max and David for coming on. Thank you to everybody that joined us on this podcast, this live. We're going to start doing more lives, I think. It comes in, so let me explain. So how it works is we come in, and I was playing the intro from Driven 3, but the audience couldn't hear the audio, but you can hear it on my side. So you hear that, and then you hear Max say, well, we couldn't hear the sound, and then we bumble our way through that. With that said, enjoy this episode. Share it. Thank you for all the support. And hey.
So on Garo, he's on 13th the second in one lap.
Enjoy it. Thank you.
See what's happening. Oh, the huge. Canas and JQ were looping together. Came in that last lap in third. He's finished 8th. Second and third is where the battle's at. Nightmare last lap for JQ. The dust is so great, it's causing a storm.
As the Austrian leg of the Grand Prix concluded, a certain Italian footballer was making sure his facility was ready.
Yo, what's up?
It's good. There's no sound though.
No sound?
Yeah.
I forgot to add the sound button to that. My mistake, your fault. What's up, Max? How you doing? We should might as well remove this so nobody can hear it.
collision famed.
I'm doing good. You're kind of clipping though. Your mic.
Well, I'm clipping on my mic.
Was the perfect
Put that down a little
Yeah.
bit.
to relax.
Let me stop this playing real quick. Yeah, in case you guys haven't watched it already, the Driven episode 3 is dropped today. Dropped about an hour ago. No, 2 hours ago, I think it was. I've seen it already. I've seen it like twice. I got to see it when it first came out, and then we did a screening of it for the patrons. What's up, Salty Joe? What's up, RC Kevin? What's up, RC? I don't know who that is. So yeah, why don't we have anybody in Facebook tuning in? So yeah, what's up, Max? You look tired, Max.
Well, I mean, I'm okay. I mean, I'm usually going to bed around this time, but I kind of go to bed wherever right now. I work at like the middle part of the day, so I don't have to really worry about.
Okay, so you're on the second shift, so you're making like 11. What's up, Casey Neal? How you doing? All right. So Max, I wanted to have you on her. We're gonna call David here in a little bit. But here we have the ASTI race. You was one of the people that got to attend each of these races. I just attended the American one. By the time you guys got to Italy, how was it? Was it oh, what's up, Born RC? All right, got you. How you doing, man? How was it? Was you guys into a pattern type of things going into ASTI, like you knew what you had to do? You also was working behind the scenes, like helping set up, take down everything. So you was there extra.
Oh yeah, me and JQ went to the track like I'd say 3 weeks before the race. We went to Torino and we were there practicing, and then it was close enough to Asti where we could just go and drive over there and see how it went. But they were building a track for a few weeks with Diego and his guy. So he was building a new layout, and they were working for it for quite a while. Then, like the week leading up to the race, me and JQ went there with Mao and painted all the pipes and set up all the banners on the on the side of the track with Diego and his guys. Mm-hmm. So it was actually quite a long process. It was probably one of the longest ones because we were like there. Mm-hmm. For Philippines, I showed up like last week. Well, JQ was obviously setting up there, but I showed up just like a week before. And for fairing, it was like a week before. So for this race, we were there for a while. Like from a racing standpoint, it's pretty good in Italy because there's lots of tracks close by. Mm-hmm. And we like practicing on another track near Torino. And racing perspective, it was like good. And then like preparing wise, we weren't at the track that much apart from the last week before the race, but Diego and his guys really handled the track pretty well. And I really actually liked the track. I never got my car set up really well for the track, but I really liked the layout though.
Okay. All right. It was probably one of the, it was different from, just real quick, guys, how's my audio? Because I can't hear myself for some reason.
Your mic is kind of hot.
Yeah, I don't understand why it's so hot, to be honest. It shouldn't be. I haven't done anything different. But anywho. Is it still hot like that?
No, it's good. It's all right.
All right. I just had to turn on some of the settings here. I was excited because it's a beautiful scenery, beautiful facility. I was excited. You know, I didn't know that a former Italian football player was into RC and had a track and all that type of stuff. So that amazed me. It was kind of like a mix of fairing and a little bit of the jumps. Like it didn't have any big crazy jumps
but I mean Philippines. It was like the style of the track was really close to what Philippines was. The grip was sort of weird because Philippines was high grip, but it allowed the car to slip. But this track was like the car sort of gripped, the more it slid, the more it gripped as well. So the grip level was a bit weird, but like the jumps and all that were really reminding me of Philippines. But I mean, this track goes way back. Like the Italian job race that Mao did way back in like 2012, 13, and those were like one of the biggest races in Italy at the time, and it was at this track. Those were like the first big international races I remember that were in Italy. the ones in Asti.
So how old is this track? How long has it been there?
Oh, it's been there for a while. I'd say at least 10 years.
So this guy Diego Fuse has been into RC that long, or did he get the track after it belonged to somebody? How did that work?
I'm not 100% sure, but I do believe Diego has been involved since the start. I'm the wrong guy to ask, but I think he's been there since the start, really.
Okay.
Because there are some I don't know if there's a football field nearby, but there are like tennis courts nearby and all that kind of stuff.
So what is this what is this part of Italy famous for?
I don't really know. Like this track was like, it's weird because it's middle of like countryside. There's lots of vineyards and all kind of stuff around the track. So I don't really know. It's like quite close to Torino, but like not that close. So it's weird. It's a really small like town, I feel like.
Okay.
Well, not really small, but like quite small.
So is it far from like where Barufalo and Ongaro and all those guys are, or how does it work? Like
like a few hour drive. It's not crazy, but it's like a few hour drive. Ongaro lives like quite far away from the rest of the guys. A lot of the other guys live like quite close to each other, but I feel like Ongaro lives a bit more further up north.
Okay, interesting.
Like an hour away or something.
I didn't realize.
I'm not 100% sure. But... Yeah, but it's not like for Americans, it's not a lot, but for Europeans, it's a bit.
It's
because Americans they say like I have a track close by and it's an hour away. For us, track close by is like 10-15 minutes.
Yeah, it's different for you guys. It's different for us. All right, so they didn't finish the track till like a couple of days before you guys were supposed to build this, before the event was supposed to happen.
Well, I mean, it was never really like they had to rush for it though. So it was like they were like slowly building it to it because it was only Diego and his guy. It's like, like a few days there were like 3, maybe 4 people, but most of the day it was just Diego and his other guy.
Did they do a complete track rebuild or how did it work?
They sort of used existing jumps and parts of the track and then they made some new ones. So they just basically just revamped the existing layout a bit. I mean, it was completely new layout, but they used a lot of the same corners, for example, from the old one. Just the other way around.
Sweet. What's up, Chris Boyda? Thank you for sharing. What's up, Gary Wright? Thank you. Good. Thanks for joining us. All right, Max, should we call David in so we can, because you know, you all work together with David. If you guys want, we'll take a few questions while I patch David in. We got some questions for Max. Have you guys seen episode 3? What were your thoughts on it? Have you guys been following the RCGP series? Let us know in the comments down below while I patch David in. So Max, you was testing, what track was you testing at previous to this in Italy? Because you and JQ were in Italy, like you said, in Italy for some time. So what was the name of the track you was testing at?
I think it was called La Loggia. Okay. I'm not 100% sure, but it was La Loggia. It's a really nice track. It's like quite small, but it's a really cool layout. The grip level is perfect. It's like slightly dusty, but still like hard packed. And it's not like the dust, like it doesn't get into the dust bowl. The dust just stays on the track, which is pretty cool. So you have to really like you have to follow the line. And when it's hard packed, it doesn't get rough or anything. Like you get slight bumps, but it's not like it doesn't blow out at all. So, I mean, I really like the track. It was one of my favorite tracks I visited in the years I've traveled in Europe. Okay. So definitely a great track.
What tires was you using at this race? Do you remember?
At Asti? Oh, God.
Hello?
Probably Stalkers or...
Hello?
I'm trying to get a hold of David. I don't know if he's connecting.
Okay. Yeah, probably Stalkers or Detox. Maybe Rehabs at one point. But it was like... I never really got a good setup or good feel for this track. I sort of just... Because I had a good feel for the car in La Loggia, but this track was just, the grip level was a bit weird. And I think the J Concepts tires also were not really that good when the grip level was like this.
Okay. All right. I'm sorry, Max, to cut you off, but it sounds like we got David. David, how are you?
Yeah.
Keenan, hello.
Hello.
I'm good, thanks.
Thank you for getting us on. I know your internet isn't the greatest up there on the mountain, but we got Max here. So we're here talking about...
Hey, Max.
Finally, Driven episode 3 has been released. I know people were asking about this for a long time, but it's finally out there. Are you happy that it's done? Only one more episode left to go.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't our intention to have this big a gap, but for one or two reasons, it happened. So yeah, you know, it's always good to finish a project or a sort of, you know, part of a project. So yeah, pleased that it's done, and I hope people like it. And number 4, the last episode, is already underway.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the most popular one because it was the biggest one. Let's be honest. It was the biggest one. It was in America. It had the most American drivers, the most, you know, just everything. I think it had the most publicity. I'm probably saying that because I was there and I thought it was the biggest, but I do think it was.
Yeah, I'd say Philippines was really big,
Yes.
but America was like sort of other, let's say like Associated and all those brands were sort of there.
Mm-hmm.
So like more people from the industry saw it. But like Philippines as an event was pretty big as well. The European races sort of stayed quite small for some reason. I don't know why it was. Maybe just different atmosphere in Europe. But I feel like America and Philippines definitely stood out
Yeah.
in the series.
Hey, what's up, Sean? How you doing? More on RC. How you doing, buddy? All right, David. So going, as I was asking Max, he was telling me how they were building the track beforehand. Well, you got into Italy. This is the 3rd race. Was it any easier by this time getting to Italy after having 2 of these races under your belt?
Honestly, I thought the whole season was quite tough. You know, you talk about, Max was just mentioning attendance and sort of the perception of how big the races were.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, we had plans and we did the best we could to get it done, and learned a lot along the way. We've learned a lot since. But yeah, I got into Italy, I mean, a little bit like Max. I got into Manila pretty late, but Joseph was on the ground. Austria, I was there to help set up. Italy, I got in relatively late, just, you know, travel plans and, you know, life sort of takes over a little bit. And then, yeah, finally with the States, you know, I was there from sort of day one. But yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed Italy, but you know, everybody has their own experience of RCGP. You know, the managers have one experience, the RCGP drivers have another, the RC2 guys have an experience, the hosts, the admin, and you know, my experience is different again. But overall, really enjoyed visiting Diego's facility, and although the attendance wasn't enormous, I think we had a pretty good race.
Yeah, I mean, from the outside looking in, I enjoyed it. It was, you know, what I think was extra exceptional was that Brent and his family went there as well. So that was good for him to go there. By this time, also, you guys had made some adjustments in the racing schedule. Was it here that you guys switched it over, made the switch for the top 7? Where you cut, like, if you qualified in the top 7, was this the race or was it in Austria where you made that change?
Yeah. No, it was this race. This race we flipped it. The 7 only is flipped.
Okay.
Because before it was like all 15.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Now, was that was that a decision made by the team managers, or was that just something that you guys decided to do because you thought it was better?
No, my recollection is it was an internal decision. You know, the whole point of RCGP is, you know, smaller numbers, more track time, more heads-up racing or more exciting racing for both, you know, racers and viewers. So we tried some stuff. I think the feeling was that, you know, flipping 12 or 14 drivers was, I'll use the word, you know, a little bit chaotic.
Mm-hmm.
So this was tried to, you know, keep the excitement of the racing up, you know, without disrupting the field quite so drastically. I thought both worked quite well, but I wasn't driving, so Max would probably have a better perspective on that, you know, between flipping a whole grid or flipping half the grid.
What did you think of that, Maximus?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure if I brought it up even in Manila already, but I at least talk about this, I think even with David at some point, that the starts, like sort of the fact that when you would retire, you would start first, and then like next race, it's going to be like crazy, like chaotic. I always felt it was better to have sort of only the top 7 flip. And one thing I really liked about the top 7 flipping was like, when you got into 7th place, it was like a race for the win and race for 7th, because then you would get to start on pole for the next race. So like there was like a huge battle for the 7th place in every qualifier pretty much. So that's what I personally enjoyed, and I felt the races were much less chaotic when it was organized this way.
Well, it also like yes, you win a race, but you also get put to the back of the race. Like it's almost like you want to come 3rd or 4th so you can start mid pack. I understand you have to get
no, but like the point still award you
Right.
better. But like the idea is still that like the issue really wasn't like the first guy starting back. The issue was like the last guy starting first, really, because like some races it was like, for example, in the Philippines, Ron Fox started on pole on one race when he retired on the one, so he pretty much got a free pole when Ongaro was like back of the grid. So when it's like top 7, it's only like the top guys that are switching around, sort of. So it's much less sort of much less risky for the top guys, and then like the racing is much more sort of stable, and it keeps sort of the levels of the driver the same, and it doesn't get those like back end of the pack and front end of the pack battles as much. But I mean, I think it's good.
All right. What's up, Marquise? What's up, Kyle? What's up, Mr. Lil Chili? Thank you for joining us, guys. All right, David. Going into this race, what were some of the obstacles that Italy presented for you guys? Because I know you require a lot of internet and all that type of stuff. So what were some of the main obstacles there?
Well, first of all, perhaps Manila and Asti we faced quite a lot of obstacles at each race, but in Manila we had Joseph on the ground, and then in Asti, Mao, who of course is Italian, did a lot of work on our behalf, sort of coordinating with Diego, and sorting a lot of things out. What is always so impressive about the Europeans is they speak typically 1 or 2 or 3 languages. Me being English and an English speaker. I just have my English, which, shows my sort of ignorance. So Asti could have presented a much bigger challenge, but thanks to Mao, and obviously to Diego, who was a great host, a lot of the challenges were minimized. The internet was a bit of a challenge, and it always is, quite honestly, unless we can find more facilities with cable internet rather than having to rely on Wi-Fi or satellite. That's something we need to consider for the future. But again, on the ground, there's kind of 2 races going on. One is, the race with the racers and the, physical people. And the other one is the race being viewed on the internet. And, our media team, particularly obviously for the racing, is RC Racing TV. And Nick and his crew are super professional. I think there were 1 or 2 internet or satellite problems, but he doesn't flap too much. And typically, I think we're able to sort of reset the satellite and keep broadcasting. I realize that is incredibly frustrating for people sitting at home around the world, particularly if you're not in the same time zone and you've made the effort to get up and watch. But, until we've got 5G everywhere, or we can have or find or race with hosts nearer bigger cities and so on. It's the sort of thing that presents a bit of a problem. I don't think it's unique to us. I can't speak for races like sort of DNC and PMB and that sort of thing, but I imagine they face similar challenges, and it's just a question of when it goes down, which it will, how you react to it. But we're always looking to do better. We'll see what happens next time.
Yeah, lots of challenges. I mean, even recently here with my trip to the Nationals, internet was something, and it's the thing to have these awesome facilities. They're usually in areas that aren't built up as much, so you won't get even in Europe, you won't get the internet technology that you would closer to cities and whatnot. So great stuff. But I mean, that's just how it is. You guys push through it and you figure out a way to get it done, which you guys done at all 4 places, which is what you do when you have to do things like this. The racing. So let's talk about this. This is where 50-50 was born. I seem to think it was born in Austria, or was it Rupert the Sheriff was born in Austria? Was it? This is where I'm a bit confused. Did Joseph take out?
So
yeah.
So I had to do a bit of research to remind myself.
Mm-hmm.
I forget exactly, but Nick was interviewing drivers after, I think, one of the finals in Austria.
It was Saturday. It was Saturday finals.
Saturday.
In Austria?
Okay. So he said,
yeah.
Okay.
Yes. And he said to Juan Carlos, about a particular incident, were you too much? Was he too much? Da-da-da-da. Or was it 50-50? And then Juan Carlos kind of pauses, and there's now this famous sort of shot of him and his audio going, it was 50-50.
Yeah.
So the quote came in Austria. I don't recall other people using it in Austria, but then it got used quite a lot in Italy because of what happened on track, and that's sort of how we formed the basis for the story of this episode, because it was kind of an iconic moment and, was truthful to the narrative of what happened.
Now, this race is where Joseph made his infamous speech and where Rupert the Sheriff was born, I believe, right? When he talked about Leonardo Valente. Where was you guys when he made this?
Chaotic race. Yeah, this was like the most chaotic race in terms of takeouts. Like in Austria and the Philippines, there were takeouts,
Mm-hmm.
but all were sort of calm and settled. But like here, you've seen the clips of McBride's dad or Boots yelling at Barufalo and all that. But like this race where everything blew up, and even Mao kind of got angry at the drivers, what is called like drivers meeting or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah. Hornets RC. What's up, Mario? Said Rupert came after he and Valente had an issue. Now, I remember watching this live. I don't know where you was, David. You was probably busy. Max, who knows where you was? I don't know if you was there.
Driving, obviously.
When Nick asked that question, I was just like, oh gosh. No, I was like, what is the answer going to be? But he actually did a good job of it. And it was probably one of the highlights from this race. One of the quotes and one of the best clips from this race. How about you, David? Did you see it when it happened in person?
No, I mean, as I referred to earlier, I think everybody has different experiences. I get to watch or enjoy very little of any of the racing. Typically, I'm, tearing around trying to solve problems or predict and prevent problems. So, no, I didn't. I'm aware of the sort of the vibe and how people are coming off track, and obviously I attended the driver's briefing and that sort of thing. But no, sadly I didn't get to see the racing, but I did have a sense that things were sort of coming to a head, and new format in Manila, and then everybody settled down, and then kind of 1 or 2 new drivers joined in Europe. Elliott struggled a little bit getting used to the format in Austria, but was much more sort of settled and used to it in Italy. Marco being super, super fast, but a little bit, I think in the episode, it's referred, his racecraft suffered a little, and
everybody was mad at Marco. Everybody.
Yeah,
I don't know how
but
he's like,
he's a super nice guy, but racing's racing, and Keenan, I think you've had him on the podcast.
Oh, I like him. I love him.
Since, yeah, but I think you had a good conversation with him on the podcast. I think probably last year, and talked all about this sort of, look, I don't think the reputation is unjustified, but it isn't quite, he's
bad.
Not, he's a super fast guy, super nice guy, but in the heat of the battle, his racecraft, has caused a few issues. But,
I love him. He needs to keep it up.
Yeah.
No, he needs to win.
We just try to tell the story as it happened. We don't have the knives out for anybody. We just try to tell the story that occurred, on site.
Yeah, we had a comment that this was a less energized version of the other two. I even made that comment to you when I first saw it. But some of these episodes have to just tell a story, and I think this told a story of a race in Italy that we had. We had some drama there, but it's like I said, it's leading up to what would be a great finale in USA. But what gets me is that when we look back at this is 2 years ago. This whole thing took place 2 years ago. You got Carl McBride still talking. He's on Infinity. He's not with Infinity no more. He's with Techno. No more Hara with HB. No, what's his name? Lee Martin, sorry. Lee Martin's not with Infinity no more. And you heard these guys talking. They got to be a part of this series, and they're not going to be there. And well, not next year. Obviously, we don't know that. But it when I looked at this again, I remember I told you, and I said, "Wow, David, it's pretty amazing what you guys are." And I'm not just blowing smoke up your ass or anything like that, but I really got to sit back and think about all the logistics and all the work and everything that was put into making this. I remember when Joseph was forcing me to read an Excel file of this, and I hate reading Excel with a passion. I hate Excel with a passion. But he forced me to read it on the trip from Bolivia to Peru, sorry. And I was like, wow, these people, like, this is never going to happen. I remember thinking that this is all a pipe dream and it's never going to happen. And lo and behold, 2 years after that, it happens. Even like it just was like an amazing thing to accomplish, even though people won't give it all the credit that it was supposed to get. Just to do this, just to pull this one season off was amazing, in my opinion. And this reminded me of that.
Well, thank you. Yeah, it was, thank you. I not much else to say, but thank you. We did our best in our first and currently only season. The funny thing is I've organized basically two more, neither of which have happened, but we're not going anywhere. We'll be back. The logistics and so on, the practical side and health and safety are all sort of intertwined at the moment, and it's been difficult. Perhaps if you're looking from the United States, where lockdowns and so on have been a little less strict, the question is, oh goodness, why can't RCGP get their act together and get on racing? But when you're considering Europe and quite a mixture of people, it gets super complicated. And but thank you, and we're not done yet. But thank you very much for those kind words.
Yeah. I mean, well, let's touch on that real quickly so people can understand why there's no RCGP, why there wasn't one any this year. There's still the possibility of being one later on this year. I'm told that's what Joseph said anyway. But basically, what people have to understand is that all the people involved, besides you, and you're actually European, but you live in America, all the people involved in this, they are European, and they have to fly from, and like we all know that travel between Europe and America isn't really something easy right now. There's lots of quarantine stuffs and having to pay for quarantine hotels and all that stuff is a lot of added expense added on top of this to take into consideration if you was going to try and do this. So people just kind of have to understand that. Yes, in America, you can get away with it. If everything was based in America, it would be okay. But it's not. The team is based in Europe, and they flew everywhere. So that's the main reason why that didn't happen.
Yeah, I mean, health and safety was the very first consideration. But, if people were or even were not comfortable with that, quite close second comes the actual practical side of doing it, as you said. And then third and sort of finally, there were for a long time rules about how many people gather outside and all sorts of things. Mm-hmm. And part of putting on a season is there's quite a long lead time into getting prepared and kind of anticipating what will the status of, in this case, the pandemic be in a month or 2 or 3 or 4 months' time. Mm-hmm. And while cancelling things is hugely disappointing, it's better than flip-flopping. Yes, it's on. No, it's off. Yes, it's on. No, it's off. warning people early that something is cancelled, I think, is a little better than warning people at the last minute. I mean, you know, we're all gonna. Everybody will have their opinion on that, but you know, very few of our guys, particularly on the sort of media side, are professional RC media people. I mean, you know, so there's real life and real jobs and real quarantine and you know real stuff to consider. So yeah, a lot to juggle. But we I mean, I'm talking about it now, but we try to just keep our heads down and you know, not make too many excuses and get on with it. That happens to be my preferred approach, but you're asking the questions and sort of, you know, so yeah, there are some answers.
Yeah, I think having one this year is a stretch, but definitely, I think things are looking. Well, we got 6 months left in this year, I would say. So we got 6 months where travel can open back up in 2022, and I could definitely see this happening in 2022. I know the people would be like it, especially the Europeans, to get some more eyes on what they're doing over there after being off about a year and a half of no racing. So I hope it does happen. We do have a question, and it comes from JP Sweet. He wants to know, how long does it usually take to produce an episode of RCGP? How long do you think it will be till the next one with the previous gap of 8 months? We all really do enjoy watching them. Good job. I hope it's not 8 months between this one and the next one, but it's a lot of work.
It is a lot of work, and it won't be 8 months. We're working on Driven 4 already. I want to sort of under-promise and over-deliver, so I'm not going to tell you even an estimate of the release date, but it won't be 8 months.
Yeah, I think it's going to be awesome. Awesome, just because I was there. All right, Max, anything you wanted to add or ask David while we're here? It's been 2 years. Lots changed. And even you, I forgot about people changing teams. You've changed teams too, Max. I forgot all about that. Yeah, her hasn't changed.
Well, I mean, yeah, hair is still pretty much the same. But yeah, I mean, I really like RCGP. It's actually pretty good that sort of the Driven series being sort of delayed a bit, because now, like, due to COVID, there's at least something to look forward to in terms of RCGP, you know, because like there hasn't been any races, so at least we have the series still. But yeah, I mean, I really loved RCGP being there on the spot. I'm looking forward to seeing them on the video, or why not at some point being there, like racing as well. But like it's great. Like there's just nothing more to say, but it's like everything that's happening there is the right things. Like I don't have to disagree with anything they're doing. Sort of like what we do in the podcast about American races a lot. So I mean, yeah, I'm super excited if it's gonna happen next year, which most likely will. But yeah, I mean that's all I have to really say.
Max, you can raise RC2 now, can't you?
Yeah. I mean, I don't think there's any regulations. Yeah, for me to not race.
Real quick before we leave her and we have to show some love to the RC2 guys, but because this race was in Europe, you had a European Championship. Hampusberg won it, so he still gets an RCGP entry for 2022, correct?
In honestly, Keenan, I'd have to kind of revisit our own rules. Yes, he qualified too. I don't know if Hampus has changed teams and that sort of thing. You know, the rules for this season tightened up a little bit on you know, chassis and drivers even within RC2, how we would sort of allocate places, and we put it all up on Facebook. So, yeah, I mean, in principle, absolutely. But if he isn't, I don't know who he drives for. Is he still with HB, Max?
Yeah, he's still with HB.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, he's still like.
Yeah, then there shouldn't.
As far as like.
Then there shouldn't be a problem if we can find a spot for him.
Yeah, as far as I'm concerned, like the first year, it was pretty much like the Euro Series winner got a spot in the wild card, and also the American race winner, as well as the Philippines race winner. But I'm not sure if it's changed since. But that was like for 2020. That was supposed to be how it went.
Yeah.
Okay, David. I know it's probably a little too early to talk about this, and we're not going to do this much longer because Max is tired. Any potential locations for 2022?
Well,
I know it's very hard to answer that.
Yeah, I mean, there are lots of potential locations, none of which have been decided, and none of which I can talk about right now. But
but we're still looking at probably 2 in America and 2 in Europe.
Yeah, something like that.
Okay.
I've started work on 2022 just literally in the last few weeks. As we can tell, the RC community more, we will.
Okay, sweet. Oh well, I look forward to it, man. I'm looking forward to episode 4 to see what that's going to be like. Hopefully, like you said, it won't be a long time. And if we get an RCGP this year, that's going to be great. If not, we look forward to 2022 and what that brings. And I think a lot of people are just looking forward to 2022. So it's not unusual, So I think we should be excited about this. Like I said, probably not as exciting as the first 2, but there wasn't, besides JQ's drama, there wasn't really much going on at this race. I think even at home, it was a little bit quiet. Ongaro, that's the last thing. Ongaro kind of wrapped it up at this race too. Not exactly what we want for a series, but what can you do when the man's so dominant, like right off the bat?
But I think I was just very fractionally brought a point on Davide's dominance. Formula One, it's a technology battle where one manufacturer is perhaps more dominant than others. In RCGP, it was one driver that was a little bit more dominant. So I think all motorsport faces similar challenges at the moment. I'm not sure if you pay much attention to the Formula One calendar, but they had their first substantially different race format in probably decades.
Yeah, I watched it.
This weekend in Silverstone, with different kind of qualifying and practice was spread differently, and a sprint race. It's about breaking the dominance of an individual or a team, perhaps, to encourage, great, not to penalize them, but just to try to keep everything exciting for the racers as well as the audience. And it seems, all motorsport is facing similar battles. I think WRC has changed over the years. Le Mans is changing sort of the way the sort of groups of chassis. Davide was dominant in season 1, and it's just he did a great job.
Did he? And then he came out here and I thought it was going to be. I didn't really think he was going to win in Portugal here the other day, and he did. And Max got me again with his predictions. But the man's fast, obvious. Man. He's fast. What can we say? Guy's super good.
Yeah.
Can't take that away from him.
He's crazy good.
Right now, I guess the same can be said about Mayfield, who can beat him. I don't think anybody in America right now could beat Mayfield. I think the only 2 guys that can probably beat Mayfield, and it would take 1 or 2 races to beat him, would be Ronafalk and Ongaro. Or maybe 1 race to get back that ring rust off. But yeah. All right, David. I think we're going to take some questions here. I don't think we have much. So if you guys have some questions in the comments, I know we're going to let David go here soon. But you know what, David? Thank you for all that you do. We look forward to the episode 4, the final episode. If you guys are watching this, please share this. We need to get this docuseries into the hands of Netflix. So if you know anybody at Netflix, send this to them. I know that's a long shot, but you never know what can happen. We need to get this out to help promote RC and show people what we're doing. This is just to show people what we're doing. So, so it's people are amazed that so many people out there in the world that don't know that we race RC cars. It's amazing. I think this is a great way to show them what we do. All right, David. Well, I'm going to let you go. Max and I are going to field a few questions, and probably going to wrap it up here because it's getting late for him. Thank you for your time. Thank you for all that you do. And yeah, let's rock this and get ready for episode 4 in 2022.
Yeah, no worries. Thank you both very much. And speak to you again sometime.
All right. Thank you, David. Talk to you later.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right. So that was David Isherwood, owner of RCGP. Things are looking promising. What's up, Corey Jordan? Left tire salute. What's up, Kenneth Pope? JP Sweek. Question from Max. What is your favorite thing to do testing on RC what is your favorite thing to do on testing on with RC, and how come?
Favorite thing to do in testing?
Arrow, I would say, for you.
Arrow? What's arrow?
Aerodynamics.
Oh, arrow? I mean, aerodynamics is really hard to test. You need to switch wings, switch bodies. I mean, it's not that hard, but it's like kind of annoying to test. So, IJ shocks are really interesting, but you need to have multiple sets of them for it to be enjoyable. Shocks for sure are one of the top ones because like the way they change the handling of the car is insane. Like I sort of sometimes overlook how much the shocks affect the car, but they are pretty much everything the car has at some times. But shocks definitely one, and I don't know. I kind of like to try to set up the car to be fast. I don't have any sort of specific things I like to do. I really like just to like maximize the speed of the car, and I don't really like tracks where you have to make the car really easy to drive, because then like you're just trying to make it so that you can control it easier, which is not like trying to make it as fast as possible. So yeah, I kind of like when you can just like tune the grip on the edge and make the car turn like as much as you can and still like remain corner speed and all that. So that's probably my favorite thing, but like favorite specific thing is shocks for sure.
Okay. I just like to drive. I don't care about testing anything. Just put new tires on there. I haven't driven in so long. All right, man.
Yeah. Oh yeah, tires are really fun to test as well.
I saw you doing a lot of that this weekend, actually. Was you testing this weekend?
Tire testing?
Yeah.
I was testing, but not tire testing. I mean, we have a spec tire in Finland, so you only run the one tire anyway.
I did not know that. I did not know that. Just like I didn't know you had a brother named Rex.
Mm-hmm. The more you know every day with me, you know.
I know. Who's this? Is this a guy from Poland?
Yeah.
What's up, dude? How are you? All right. I think that was it, man. Does anybody have... What's up, man?
Isn't he on the podcast this week?
No, not this week. I got sick yesterday. Oof. Well, that's bad.
Oh.
I'm behind.
Corona?
On everything. No, it was just something I ate. It was down for the count yesterday morning. Projectile vomiting and stuff like that. That was not good.
TMI, bro.
Yeah, it was not good. Not good. It was not a good morning in my bathroom yesterday. I'm still not even 100%. All right. Well, I think we just wanted to do a reaction video from this. Corey wants to know, how is your AE car versus your Black Edition?
Very different. I'd say that. It's almost the polar opposite at sometimes. It's not as much of an opposite as maybe Mugen would be, but like almost. So it's, I can, at this point, I can definitely say I had a hard time last year getting sort of like, I could get the car really good at my home track, be fast, then maybe go to another track, have a really tough time getting set up. Then if I had more time on that track, I would just set it up for myself and I would feel comfortable again. But I always needed sort of that time. I didn't have a sort of a base setup, but now I have a good base setup. It just took a little bit of time and testing to find what I really need from the car. The biggest difference to JQ is like, I feel like with JQ, you had to be really precise. You had to drive it sort of that you were like, right, like hitting all the apexes and like, it was really, you need to be really precise and you would then be really fast. And it would be actually pretty easy to be precise, but you just had to be precise. Mm-hmm. With this car, I feel like you can be a bit more laid down. You have to push it a bit harder at times. And, but it's not as easy to be precise then as well. So it's like, it requires a bit different driving style. I think I've adapted to it pretty well at this point. I've been pretty fast. I mean, I still set up the car very similarly, but it's still it's still a very different car to drive. I feel I'm pretty much the same speed with both cars, not really different. At this point, I'd still say I'm still finding like to be 100% comfortable with the AE, because like you have to be honest. Like I drove a JQ car for almost 10 years, so like I know the car in and out. With this car, I still have like some types of track, some types of grip levels. I still have to find my edge, but I mean, very different cars, but both. I feel like with both, I'm doing pretty well. I mean, I have done pretty well with Black Edition, and with AE, I'm doing well right now.
Benjamin James, he says, I got on too late. RCGP on FS1? Yeah, fuck yeah, right on FS1. I want it on ESPN Ocho, man. Let's get it on there. I'll be happy with that. We run a spec tire on our pro class. It really brings out the top drivers who can set up their cars and maximize their equipment. Shout out from this is that nice track in South Africa, Zwartkops, RCX.
Zwartkops.
Yeah, it's treated with molasses, but I really like that track. Whew, it's so beautiful. I love when tracks look like that, like, you know.
Yeah, I do agree with spec tire, by the way. I used to be a strong opponent of spec tires for pros. For like RC2, I was always for spec tire, but for like the pros, I was against it. But I've slowly turned into like, I kind of want a spec tire for all the races, and it's just so much easier. It's like so much cheaper to travel to races. The thing is, though, that the tire needs to be good. If it's like a shitty tire, it wears out too fast, is like way too expensive, or whatever the thing is, but has like sort of a huge downside to it, then like, no, you have to have a tire that's reasonably priced, that lasts a long time, and the grip level is half decent at least. The speed of the tire is not that important, but you have to have it so that it's like good to drive. And I feel like that has been one of my difficulty here. Like now, even like when I switched to AE, that spec tire rule came into force in Finland. So what I usually did, I usually like to set up my car so that I would get a lot of forward traction with the tire. So I would have more side bite on the car and then get the forward traction with the tire. So I would run like triple Ds or like tires that had a lot of forward traction, not that much side bite. For example, like Jona always ran reflexes, I always ran triple Ds. So like reflex is more of an all-around tire compared to triple D, which is much more forward bite, much less side bite. And now the tire, when it's the same for everyone, and it's a really sort of dull tire, which means that you don't really have grip sideways nor forwards. Mm-hmm. So it's like sort of a very, very sort of, there's no distinct behavior to this tire really. Apart from that, it's pretty soft because it's super soft compound. So I've had a huge issue sort of getting used to setting up my car for a tire like this, because I always used to that I could run one compound thicker than other people, so I would get the more forward drive. I'd run triple Ds instead of reflexes. But now I have to run a soft tire compound. I need to compensate with diff oils, and I need to run sort of a tread pattern that is more dull. So I would need to compensate on sort of the car setup to get it to have like the desired effect, like on side bite and on forward traction. So that's definitely has been an issue for me as well. But I feel like if we just moved slowly to a spec tire, people will start to sort of realize this and tune their car a specific way. And in the end, it would just be pretty much so that all the brands offer one or two different threads and then like compounds to these threads. And you would have sort of like all the tires would be sort of similar to drive in the end, but it would be much easier for the racer.
What's the spec tire there for you guys? Just National Series.
It's an HP Gridlock in super soft.
For every one of the rounds, right? It's the same tire?
Yeah, and that's a bit of an issue. I mean, I when we were choosing the tire a few years back, I sort of said that we might need tune compounds, but I didn't really push it because it's easier if you have just one. But now, like, we're going to choose a new tire for next year and the year after that, this year. So I'm trying to push that we would have 2 compounds, because it's pretty crazy, the tire wear we have now. It's over 30 degrees here. It's like the tracks were just visited a few weeks back, and the tracks that's coming up in the next national wear out the tire really fast. Like after Maine, it's almost bald, and it's yeah. I mean, we really need a thicker compound, or just a tire that's a much more suited for abrasive tracks. So I feel like the best way to do it is if it's a big race, sort of like Euros, or I'm actually going to answer this. Yes, I think 50-50 was in Italy.
That's what I thought too.
Just after,
because it's where you heard on the thing where he says, and then Ronnefalk and Canas get into it, and then Ronnefalk flames out.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yeah, Canas took Ronnefalk out, and then Ronnefalk flamed out, and into Canas said
we'll
it was 50-50.
We'll have to go check it out. David said he went and checked it out, and it was Austria.
Yeah, but I think he was wrong. But I mean, JQ is agreeing with me here. So
Corey Jordan asked,
it was that way.
What tire brand is gaining the most momentum? I think it depends where you are.
I'd say Hot Race pretty easily though. Like Proline is pretty much dying because of Horizon.
I don't
then
think
so, AK almost went like bankrupt, I feel like. And then like J Concepts is, I feel like they're only like focusing on Florida for some reason. Like I barely see them anywhere in Europe. They sometimes have a good sort of good sort of atmosphere at West Coast races with J Concepts guys, but I feel like they're only big in like East Coast.
What's that, J Concepts? It's growing. Yeah. I think Drake's going to be the key to that on the West Coast, because if you ever talk to Rona about J Concepts on the West Coast, it's like, well, you know, in order to compete on the West Coast, I would have to have a shop there, you know, and have somebody there to do support like what he does on the East Coast. So I think, I'm not saying, I mean, that's an opportunity for somebody like Drake. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but like, come on, Hot Race used to be non-existent in America. Now they got like 2 of the almost fastest guys.
Yeah.
They got Pavidis. They got a huge team there. So like, Hot Race is definitely picking up.
Robert Parenti, do you think the RCGP format could be used for club racing? Seems like they have more track time. Yes, definitely. I think what's like,
if it depends. If it's like 1 heat of drivers or 2 heats maximum, it works perfectly.
Yeah.
The format that was used for RC2 in fairing, that was actually one of the formats that me and JQ discussed like way back that could be good for a series like this. So like the idea was that in qualifying you would have 2 heats, you would bump up and the other guys would drop down, and then you would have sort of regular mains.
RCGP idea, the pro guys should have at least just 1 spec tire event, perhaps 1 of the sprint races, so that they don't have to worry about spending too much time getting their cars to work with the tire.
Yeah, the thing is, I think a spec tire for RCGP Pro Class would actually be a good idea. I feel this way. I mean, I'm almost 100% sure all the tire manufacturers will say no to this, but I feel like it would be cool to have sort of one tire manufacturer. Each race they would supply like 2 compounds. It would be exactly like sort of F1 or whatever, where you would be like, oh, he's on a hard tire for this race, he's on a soft tire, you know? Like, I think this would be much cooler.
Chris Boyder, I don't know. I'm on the fence of that, to be honest. I think when you're at that level,
I think it would be cool.
I think when you're at that level,
but like,
anything goes.
But I think it would be more to strategy as well. You would have sort of like compounds that are close together, or even 2 different threads, but use like maximum 3 different type of tires for the pro guys.
This is true too. When you
I think it would be much more strategic, and it's like, you know, you do know, like every single guy shipped at least 1 box of tires with them to each race.
Oh,
like,
I heard.
Of extra, like shipping.
Yeah, like shipping.
Like Ronnefalk had like crazy amount of tires with him every race, and like still he even came to me when I was in Manila, like, do you have tires? Because he didn't have just the ones that he needed.
Really?
Yeah.
I think
because we were both wearing J Concepts.
I
at
think
the time.
it would show people that they don't, like, just us plebs like myself, that you don't need 1,000 set of tires to be competitive. You know what I mean?
And the thing is, like, me and JQ, like, we always went just like packed the tires in our backpacks and went to the airport. You know, we didn't have the budget to send the tires. Or, I mean, obviously,
I know all about. I don't know all about traveling with JQ. All about it.
Yeah. So I mean, we got through with it pretty easily. Like, no worries. But like, it's still like all the top guys. Like, Maro shipped a fuck ton of tires to each race, and Ronafog did the same. And like, it's like I feel like we would be saved of all of that. And it would show that the spec tire works. And like, why wouldn't it work? It works in 10 scale. And the thing is, like, you could still have club races without spec tire if you want to, and you could have Roar Nationals and Euros without spec tire if you want to. But like, I feel like RCGP, this could be a good thing, because RC2 is already a spec tire.
Well,
car.
You know what, the tire companies will be like, oh, we can't support this because our driver can't run the tires that are his tires. Do you know what you're gonna hurt?
They run 10 scale though. They run 10 scale.
Yeah, and I guarantee you that most of them don't like that either. All right.
I mean, no doubt.
All right, we'll take a few. I'm kind of in agreement with you now that I'm listening to you talk about.
Yeah, I'm gonna say this though. Like, it's gonna be really hard to do because of the tire manufacturers. But like, it'd be really cool if that happened.
Like, professional racing uses a static tire. That's exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, you seen what happened in NASCAR. You see what happened in F1. It always went to shit. Like in F1, it was like Bridgestone sucked really bad. And Ferrari was really bad because of that, because Michelin was much better. And then like in NASCAR, like all the tires blew up. Like, we don't have that issue really, because safety is not really that much of a concern when you're driving a remote control car. But like, every time there's open tires, it leads to like too much expenses, too much like hassle. And it's like, it's actually strategically much more enjoyable to have sort of like 2 compounds or 3 compounds for each race. 2 is probably even enough.
Yeah, I would just save these companies so much money too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then that whole stigma goes away where you need all these tires to race. All right, this is a good question. How much does Drake have to do with Mayfield's recent success? All right, I've been contemplating Mayfield for the since after the ENATs, but even before that, talking to other drivers and stuff like that. I said it earlier on this podcast. I don't think that there's any American driver that can beat him right now. And I think that, you know why? I think Mayfield's got all these guys fucked in the head. Like, he like, they know this guy's coming to win. And I think he's kind of learned that, hey, I don't have to be TQ. I don't have to be leading qualifying to still win these races. And I think Drake is definitely an asset to him. But I just think his whole program's good right now. He's in tune with his car, his tires, it's not just Drake. It's everybody that's involved. You got Jason Runner, you got Drake, you got feedback coming from all the Mugen guys, from all the J Concepts guys. He just has to show up and put on his face and run and not make mistakes, which he was known for. Because if you knew, Ryan Mayfield's always been fast. He was just always known to also not finish races, you know?
Yeah, but like Mayfield is like, it's like, when was there a big race and you went like, oh, Mayfield was really slow at this race?
The World's 2016,
it's like,
but yeah.
But yeah, like, I mean, even when he ran Losi and the old AE, he was still competitive. Those cars were like complete shit, to be honest, really.
I agree.
Like,
but
after he switched to Mugen, like, when he got his race program together, like, he's almost never slow. And like, at this point, like, everyone's sort of figuring theirs out. Like, Testman is on a new tire. Cavalier just switched brands. T-Boy's getting, I guess, old, but like, T-Boy's like sort of fading out a bit. Then who are the other guys? I mean, that's almost all the guys. Like, Cole is like not ready yet to win big races consistently. Fend is like Fend, so like whatever. So there's really no, like, at this point, there's really no one that compares to him. Like,
not in America anyway.
One of the best. Yeah, he has
America.
one of the best cars. He has a really good tire package. He has one of the best engines. He's one of the best drivers, obviously.
Yeah.
And everything, like, there's no weaknesses to him at this point. Like, the car is not a weakness, because usually it's been either the engine or the car that has been a weakness. And in previous years, sometimes it was the tires. But like J Concepts has good tires. He has a good engine, OS-based engine, and he has a good car. So there's no like downsides to it. Like Fenn has a car that's really aggressive, and he sets it up way too aggressive and makes mistakes with it. Like Tessman has a new tires, even though they might be good at some races that like they were at nationals, he still has to learn the tires. And I feel like he's still not like 100% with the car, even though he's been there for a while. Then like Cavalieri and Thibaut, we already went through this, but
I think it's got all these young guys rattled though. I think all these young up and coming guys are scared of him. I think Tessman right now is probably the only one that I think can outright beat him. I think if Tessman would have made the finals, I think it would have been a different story altogether, because he was.
I think Tessman and Mayfield could have had a fight for the win.
People might say, "What about Cole?"
No,
I think Cole would have been good for 20 minutes.
The thing is, Cole has been fast for a long time now. It's like, you remember the nationals where he unlapped himself because of not marshalling.
2017.
Like he was already fast then, and it's not like. I mean, you could say, well, yeah, he's grown up, got better, and he's more consistent now. I mean, maybe he finished second at DNC. That's a good result. But, like, he has never sort of appeared as a favorite to win yet, you know? There's never been a race where, like, this is Cole's race, you know? That hasn't happened yet. With Mayfield and with Ty, it happens every time. Every race, like, this is Ty's race to win, you know? And, like, Mayfield, the same thing. And, like, when he gets onto that level, I can say, okay, Cole could beat Mayfield. But he hasn't showed that level yet. But he's showed the speed to make that level.
I still think that Cavalieri and Thibaut can beat him. But they need everything going in. Like I think with Thibaut, I think it's just, he maybe is lacking a slight, he's got confidence, but not the other confidence that he has. Like, just talking to him, you know, he feels a little bit behind the 8 ball in a lot of things. And it's frustrating him. Because, you know, he had a good year when he first came up with Techno and is trying to repeat that. Cavalieri is kind of like, hey, I'm on a whole new program. I'm trying to get up to speed as it is with that. Yeah. But he's just, I mean, he's just set in his
year with S-Work.
And
he took a year with S-Work. He's going to take a year with TNR.
Mayfield's good. Like, he's fucking a beast. Like, this guy is the Mayfield. The only thing he doesn't have is the accolades. He doesn't have the wins that a Cavalieri has. He doesn't have as many wins as even a Tessman.
Tessman is even more accomplished than Mayfield in 8 scale.
Yeah. Because, if you look at overall, like, Cavalieri kind of beats him, period. I mean.
Oh, yeah. Cavalieri is definitely, period, beating Mayfield. But, like,
beating Mayfield and Tessman and anybody out there right now.
Yeah.
But people just don't. Yeah. It happened so long ago, people don't remember that. I think what you're seeing is Mayfield just in a good, but I will say this is a come at one cost. And I think that's his 10 scale performance, because if you look at him this year, his 10 scale performance has not been up to snuff. Even I would say for the last 2 years, he was in the B main at a race. He was with Wally the other, even Wally was saying, what are you doing here? And here we have, no, that's not saying he can't go to the 10 scale nationals next month and win that. If he wins that, if Mayfield goes and wins the 10 scale nationals, this is probably one of the best seasons a person could, besides not winning a Worlds, because there is no Worlds this year.
Yeah, I mean, Fend won 1 year. Fend won every single Roar National Championships in off road.
Not 8 scale. He's never won an 8 scale championship.
Yeah, except for buggy. He won Truggy, but he didn't win buggy. So at 1 year he won every single off road race except the national race except for buggy. 8 scale nitro buggy. Wow. So, like, if Mayfield has to win, like, every class, I think he's already lost to that record because he didn't win the four-wheel drive short coast truck.
Well, they haven't had the nationals yet. They have the nationals next month.
No, they had four-wheel drive short coast.
Oh, yeah, he didn't race that, though. Like, was only 9 people in that class.
Yeah, but, like, Fend had, like, 9 Roar championships in 1 year.
Of course. So, like, I don't even think that Fend and Cavalieri should have been racing that race. Just to have we have a national title in short course with 8 people there. And The race was only between
two
guys.
I mean, but like I'm just comparing the record.
I honestly
the
think
record is with 10, like 9.
I honestly think there's only 2 people that can outright beat. I said it's just one, but after the IBC, and even then, I think it would take if they race 3 times, it would be 3 different winners. It would be Ronafalk and Ongaro. If they race 3 times, each one of them guys would win a race. And I would say that Mayfield will win
maybe
twice.
not Ronafalk. I'm not that confident.
You are
on
so
Ronafalk,
not so
because
on Ronafalk.
I see. No, but the thing is, like, if it was DNC, like Ronafalk all the way. But like any other track, it's like I see Ongaro and Mayfield beating him more times. Maybe Thunder Alley, like if it's West Coast America, then I can see Ronafalk winning.
Well, Max.
But if it's like anywhere else in the world, I see like Ongaro and Mayfield have that slight edge over Ronafalk.
Well, Max,
You paused?
No, I'm just reading something. I think that you underestimate the Viking, so I'm just gonna leave it at that. But
maybe, I mean, I hope so, because like
I think it's just like the
good.
Finnish Sweden thing. You just don't like people from Sweden too much.
No. I'm purely looking at the data.
I'm sure there's no feelings whatsoever in there whatsoever.
No, I mean, I really like David, and I have nothing against like him. So I mean, I wish him to be like. I'm just honest.
when you talk to him, and I talk to him quite often, and I say, hey, he sees these. I think these guys get angry. They want to come over and race the Americans. Like he wants to race Mayfield.
Yeah, I mean, if he wants to race, he's definitely gonna be fired up, because I mean, I've said I think during RCGP I said something about him on the podcast, and he after like the next race he like came up to me and said, "Oh yeah, I'm fast at this race." I think like it was one of my interviews where I said like Ronafalk was really slow at the Euros on the like team profile or whatever. Mm-hmm. So like I mean he cares, and I'd be happy if he like picked up the pace a bit more and all that. I mean I'm rooting for him, but I'm just being realistic.
I think he can do it. I think Ongaro, like after watching this two at IBC, it's like they're just back at it again. Like
yeah, I mean Ronafalk's definitely on the top 3 of the world, but like he like at some tracks he needs to get that little bit of edge to beat Ongaro.
But the same could be said about Ongaro. Ongaro struggles on American style tracks.
But
DNC. So all right, Ryan Yamaski, we're gonna take a few more questions and then we're gonna hop out of her. This is going longer than what we're supposed to, but it's pretty cool. We have a spec tire. The manufacturers might make more money since there will be more availability of tires. I can't even get the most common ones right now, but the sponsor guys have all they need. Yeah, that's how it works.
Oh yes, this is especially one of the things that it's really sucking for regular RC racers. Mm-hmm. You have to buy a fuck ton of tires. You have to buy them immediately as they restock, because all the sponsored guys are going to take them all out before you get them. Mm-hmm. So like you have to pay a lot of money. You have to sort of work a lot to get the right tires you need, even though you pay for them. So it's like, it's ridiculous to me. And I feel like the spec tire would only work if the tire company would like sponsor the event, sort of. So like the tire company would have to pay for sponsorship of the event, and they would get the sales of the tires that are going towards the event. So I think that's the only way it could work. I think there's no other way of doing it. It can't really like. I feel like this what the JP is sort of suggesting is good, because then there's a way to make sort of like all the drivers run their tire sponsors like stickers on, and the tires they're running are not branded. I think that's one way to do it. But I mean, people are still gonna know it's gonna be a tire that they're gonna sort of. Like they know the tire brand they're using, like, and it's gonna be a sponsor of the series if that's gonna happen. So I feel like that's a bit hard to do.
What's up, Brian Moore from Santa Barbara? Love this track. Love that track. Chris Boyder says the Techno team has the same ingredients as Mugen, but they don't work together like Mugen does. Mayfield is definitely the fastest guy, but he surrounded himself with the right people. I would have to agree with you there.
I would have to agree, but I would have to disagree on having the same ingredients. That's really not like. Come on, like the Mugen car and Techno car are not even in the same planet, really. Mugen is one of the most prestigious like cars
right, but
there
the Techno
is.
car
It's
is good.
been
I
sort
think
of developed since 15 years. The Techno car is like a new car. It only works on certain type of surfaces and all that. So like,
I think he's talking about the team aspect of it, Max. The team aspect. They have a big team.
I know, but like. Even if they had a team like Mugen, they wouldn't have the same results.
Well, the problem is
like
that Mugen has always had such a small team. So you have Mayfield and you have Danny and you have, let's say, Drake. Drake knows, hey, that Mayfield winning a national title is more important than me making the A-main at a national title. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
He also had True there who helped him out. He's got Jason Runner that's there helping him as well. That's a bunch of good guys to have in your corner to help you out. Where the technical guys,
but I actually think like
can I finish?
It's a different strategy. It's like Mugen is sort of like focusing on making a winning car and having a winning driver, and Techno is sort of focusing on having a strong enough team to have sort of a wide field of drivers in the main.
And the issue with Techno is, which I've been saying all this time, is that with that many hungry young egos in one camp, it can only be contained for so long. I mean, we saw a little bit of that bubbling up after the Nationals with Seth and Joe Bornhorst. It's just something you can't contain for long. And it just is what it is. And that's what happens. Like, people disdain and keeping secrets from each other happens when that happens, when you have to fight. And you know what? That's how racing is sometimes too. Some of the best rivalries in Formula One actually came from teammates. You know, when you think of it, like Prost and Senna, or even was it Rosberg and Hamilton? Yeah, you know. So all that stuff's all good. Connie Swenson, he says, I would love to see a 2-wheel drive 8-scale class built from the ground up. No conversions in 8-scale. He was talking about that after you mentioned it.
I would like to see a lot of classes happen as well. But the thing is, like, there's a lot of cool classes that could be made, but like there's already way too much classes. Like, if you think of 10 scale, there's two-wheel drive stadium truck, 2-wheel drive short course, and then there's 4-wheel drive. And now they're trying to bring a 4-wheel drive stadium truck, and there already is a 4-wheel drive short course. It's like, to me, like the maximum you could have is 2-wheel drive and 4-wheel drive. Like, that's it. Sort of like. Buggy and electric buggy.
Sorry, my internet dropped for real quick. A little flash.
Okay. Back. So I hope that this got into the stream, so there's like not a huge cut. But basically, sort of for 10 scale, the only like classes you could have was like 2-wheel drive, 4-wheel drive. For 8 scale, it's buggy and electric buggy. And then like it would be sensible to raise these classes, because now it's pretty much like all the pro guys have to run a bunch of classes for no reason, really. And most of the classes they just run without practice. And in club level, yeah, you could have as many classes as you want to. But like on pro level, you should cut the classes to as close to minimum as possible, really. Because then like the racing gets better. There's more to focus on, and it's not like 100 classes everywhere. That's just my take on it.
But 2-wheel drive 8 scale would be interesting.
Oh yeah, it would be cool, but so would be gas track would be cool, and so would be sort of short course 4-wheel drive could be cool at some tracks. But like, you have to just draw a line somewhere.
Max,
favorite sport, favorite team. I'd have to say rallying. I think rallying and Toyota. But if it's like a physical sport, then I don't really follow anymore. I used to follow hockey quite a bit at some times, but I used to like Rangers a lot when I followed hockey. From Finnish teams, I always like Helsinki Jokerit.
I don't follow hockey. I do like rally. Raw RCG collaboration. Well, RCGP isn't a federation. It's a race organization. It's a difference. It's a promoter.
Yeah, I mean,
media company, actually.
From what it's a media company. From what I've gathered throughout these past 3 to 4 years of RCGP existing, and what EFRA, ROAR, and IFMAR have responded to it, I'm not gonna be expecting a collaboration between any federation or RCGP soon. These federations, you saw like what JQ put on his video. EFRA called EOS and Threat.
Yeah.
Not sort of like, hey, we have a big race series in Europe. Maybe EFRA could be sort of like the governing body of this series.
We did a race in SoCal.
Their attitude is the wrong.
Yeah, maybe we need to just get rid of them. Get rid of the people in there and get all new people in there. Screw them. We had all run the same. He's talking about I'm all for spec tires, man. People just don't understand how much money they save on travel.
For RC2, for RC2, it's no brainer. For club racing, I could allow open tire for like smaller club races, like week races and stuff. Mm-hmm. But if it's like JBRL, I would run a spec tire, I feel like.
Yeah, good stuff.
And for RCGP, it could work, but the tire manufacturer has to be a big sponsor. Otherwise, it won't really work.
I would take more teams getting into RCGP rather than them running spec tires right now. You know what I mean? So if getting more drivers,
but if we have 6 teams and a wildcard team, then it's like if we already have full set of teams agreeing to spec tire, I would rather have that than have more than the full set of teams wanting to come in with open tire.
Yeah, I would just rather have more.
That's me. Like I
just rather have more drivers in there than.
But it has to be one heat though. You can't have over 15.
Well, all right.
It can't really be more than one heat.
This is true.
it can be, but it won't be as good of a show.
Right, I get that. I feel
like.
I understand that. Well, I think that's all the questions that we have for today, Max. It's got to be after 12 there where you are at. Yeah, after 1.
Oh, yeah, 20 past midnight.
All right, well, I'm going to let you go. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. What's up, Patrick? How you doing? We're just coming to the end of our show here. We had David Isherwood on, the owner of RCGP. He talked a little bit about the Driven episode that was just released, Driven Storm Before the Calm, I think it's called. It's on YouTube and Facebook. Go check it out. Share the shit out of that. Like, share it everywhere. If you're on Reddit, share it to every social platform that you can. We need to get this viral. It only helps RC out. We're trying to put a podcast together. It might, like I said, I got sick yesterday and knocked me off kilter. I'm still not even 100%, but I'm all right. Maybe this will be part of the podcast this week that people that didn't tune into this live. We shall see, but Max and I are going to be talking tomorrow. Keith, you're always late to the party, man, but you can rewatch this. Thank you, Keith, for tuning in. I think that's it, guys. I think we're done for this. We're usually supposed to do 30 minutes, 45 minutes, and we're getting an hour and 20. Yeah. We always do.
When we get the stuff going, we just go and go. And it's great. I enjoy it though. It's really fun.
I'm starting to like the lives more. You know what? I'm thinking of doing a live next Thursday. It's my birthday. It's Wally's birthday is the 25th. My birthday is the 29th. So we might do a birthday bash next week. And I might.
Yeah, I kind of dig the lives too.
I like the lives too.
You can ask the questions made of the podcast, and we can call in for people and
but the only problem is
all that kind of stuff.
The only problem is to get lives and get you on the lives, it has to be early. But to get a good amount of people on her, it has to be later on in the evening because most of the people that tune in are in the USA and they tune in after they come to work, after they finish work.
But I mean, you can rewatch it anyway, so it's not like a...
Right, but to get the most interaction is Jones-Tessman rivalry. Yeah. What happened with Jones and Tessman? Did I miss something, Chris? Please explain it to me. I did not.
I don't understand this either.
Yeah, I didn't see that happening, but anything's possible. If I smell a rivalry, I want to know about it. I want to know about it. Well,
you know what? The Fend-Rivkin rivalry, I'm starting to believe in it now.
Of course it exists.
I mean, before I was like, okay, they just happen to have their lives at the same time. But now it's personal. I feel like now they're getting personal. They're trying
they don't like each other.
Be on top of.
They don't like each other.
I think there's like something between there. And I mean, this is perfect.
So check it. They don't like. I know they don't like each other, and Cav probably doesn't like Rivkin too much either because Rivkin kind of probably.
I feel like Cav is the type of guy that doesn't like any of his racers. Like maybe Mayfield because they've been friends for so long, but he's the type of guy who just wants to win. I feel like. I mean, I haven't talked to him that much, but I feel like he's the type of guy.
Tessman spun Jones on the chicane a couple of times. I didn't.
Oh yeah, I've heard about that.
Yeah, I didn't hear anything about it, but hey, maybe he's showing the young buck. Hey, I'm a veteran here. You gotta. I don't know. That was a small track. It was not hard not to touch anybody on that track. So, yeah, I don't know, but definitely the Rivkin things. Definitely. I told you that a long time ago. You didn't want to believe it. Then when they start now, like people's like, oh look, they're doing the lives together, like same time, like immediately. One's doing on YouTube.
But the thing is, like, you're kind of like a conspiracy theories where you get excited about everything straight away. Like we have to be sort of like the normal people. You're like, okay, Keenan, let's calm down.
But
like this time you were right. Yeah, like this time you're right.
Oh, Kevin Thompson, he's so savage.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm not going to say that out loud.
I feel like he's onto something maybe.
Actually, I think people misjudge Cavallari a lot. I think he's very introverted. And
I mean,
he's
very nice though. Like that's the thing. Like, but I feel like he's very like he really wants.
Oh, he's very. He can be an asshole too. Like he fucks. Like I've seen him fuck off Saxton, and I'm like, I wouldn't take that from another man. Like, you know what I mean? We be fighting. Like, what's up, Nitro Freak? How you doing, man? Thanks for joining us. I'm gonna have to go see that. I'm gonna go watch the mains again tomorrow and see where he spun him. You know what Jones needs to do? Jones needs to go out there and turn Tessman around a few times. Give him a wheel.
Yeah, Jones needs to grow big balls. You know, I feel like he's sort of like gets sort of lost in the sidelines a bit, even though he's really fast. Like his speed is there, but like he doesn't have that sort of.
It's got to be aggressive, like, it's got to take guys out.
Yeah. I mean, he's gonna get something going.
Hey! Look, just do it. Like people forget about it, and then you know what? Not just all right. I'm here. Not that I'm saying you go out and take people. Oh, but sometimes you gotta give people a wheel. Like Tessman did.
Oh yeah, and you have to be like you don't have to like just take out like ridiculously. You have to like raise tight and give some moments for the people to remember you. You know.
Yeah. Oh, so now we have a Jones and Tessman rivalry. Great. I have something to talk about now. Awesome. All good, Nitro Freak. All good, man. How you doing? I think Jones needs to do things like that. He's trying to be a professional driver. He's got to do what he's got to do to get ahead. Can't be nice, man. Nice guys finish last and usually go home alone. So good stuff. All right. I think that's it, Maxie. I think that's it.
Yeah. We went for 1.5 hours.
Yeah, it was good. It was fun.
Like an hour more than we planned
it's always fun.
Initially.
It's like I like it when you interact with the listeners and they get to ask questions and stuff like that. We should do more lives.
Yeah, and we gotta. I mean, the Spectre discussion was really good too. Like I feel like there were some good points we made there. Yeah. So, definitely a thing to think for the future.
It's starting to catch on more though. I mean, before where you wouldn't hear it at all. There were some racers to do it. Who's the dirtiest pro drivers? Adam Drake is number one on my list.
Cav is probably the second.
I've seen Adam Drake do some nasty things out there.
And Drake is like easy number one. Yeah. Drake is like there's no question. Like he's like Drake is up here, and then Cav is probably like here. And Barufalo is probably somewhere in between, but he's like sort of like he doesn't do it on purpose. Where Drake and Cavalieri, I feel like do it a lot on purpose. I've seen Cav
try to take somebody out on purpose. I've seen, we've obviously seen the track cuts.
Barufalo is like just so aggressive he does in an accident, you know.
Like when he was at DNC, when he was making Mayfield nervous because he was just going so wild behind him, and he was like, he needs to slow down. I don't think Marco is dirty like that.
Mayfield's like one of the cleanest drivers in America, by the way.
Yeah, I would.
Like even Tessman is more dirty than Mayfield.
Yes, I would have to agree there. But definitely Drake. Drake.
I
don't know, but Drake's from the old school too, so he probably learned that from back in the day. and all that there.
Yeah,
but he does
I
it to
mean-
a point where
I
you don't
mean-
even see it. Sometimes you have to be really
Yeah,
looking.
and he's like, and he does it like deliberate. He isn't like just like accidentally hitting
I've heard the
someone. He knows
stories.
what he's doing exactly.
I've heard
Yeah, he
people
knows
talk
exactly
about it.
what he's doing.
Yeah. Yeah. Richard, I think you want to know who I think one of the dirtiest drivers is Greg Degani, because he does everything to win.
Oh yeah, I was about to say it, but like Degani is like, he doesn't take you out unless he has a reason to. Like when he takes people out, he has a good reason for it, and it's a really funny story every time.
If you see
I
Greg
feel like-
Degani doing anything out of the extraordinary or extra, like water in the track at a race,
Yeah.
he's doing it for a reason. He's not doing it for just to be out there and be helpful. He might be doing it to screw over Richard in the mind. I asked Richard, I said, hey, what did you think of Degani watering track? I knew he was trying to play with my mind. I knew he was, and he did work too, because he messed with my mind.
Yeah, and I mean, Degani is number one in mind games.
Yeah,
Easy,
yeah.
Not even close. He's like number one in mind games.
Oh man, but I don't know who else is dirty. Who
yeah, I
else
mean,
could be
Drake
considered
and
dirty?
Cav are easy picks.
I would say
In
Rivkin
Europe-
too. Rivkin's got a dirty streak on him.
But like Rivkin seems like he just doesn't care about other people on the track more than he's dirty, sort of. You know?
Yeah, I
like
get
he
that.
doesn't really like, because like some like sort of like Barufalo. Rivkin and Barufalo, I feel like the same, even though they drive completely differently. But in racing situations, they sort of make the same sort of errors, I feel like. Whereas Mayfield and not Mayfield, Drake and Cavalieri, they do it deliberately and they know what they're doing, and they sort of try to sort of make themselves have the best situation in everything.
I was about to say,
you know.
what about Canas? Canas is pretty aggressive.
Yeah.
and then Jake, he says every Spaniard.
I was about to say like Robert and Canas, but they are not like.
I think Canas
They are
is super
weird
aggressive.
Yeah, but they are weird because they are not like. They don't take people out deliberately, but it feels like it. It's different, like, because Barufalo and Rivkin, they sort of take people out here and there, and Cavalieri and Drake are more calculated. But then, like, all the Spaniards, like, I feel like Robert even does this a lot at big races. It's like
Gosh,
they
we're gonna
just
get
randomly
boycotted by
take
every
people out,
Spanish
you
listener
know?
now.
Maybe, but like they, I mean, I don't know if it's like the racing culture there or if it's just the top drivers happen to be this way, but they sort of like, it just happens somehow, but it happens a lot.
I don't know who else could be considered dirty. That's in our in our genre, like that we can
Yeah,
like
I don't
right
know.
now.
I mean, I don't really. Europe, it's like only
JQ is dirty.
Spaniards, really.
JQ is the worst thing to ever happen to RC if you ask most people. Oh, he
Yeah,
turned off the radio.
JQ is sort of like he's like a more sort of he has a better moral compass than Drake, but he does the same thing, sort of. You know,
JQ
like
would
he
take
always calculates that
Right.
it's okay, but then he takes people out like straight out at sometimes as well.
Oh, let's hear.
Sort of like what he did to
I asked,
Valencia
you know,
or
I said, hey
in Finland, what
JQ, why don't you join us for a live show after the RCGP
Yeah,
video?
what JQ said, this is sort of like the Spaniard sort of takeout. So it's not like they're deliberately doing it, but they are just like, well, if I don't hit this guy, it doesn't really matter. So they're like sort of like this. I feel that's like the way they take you out, you know. Whereas when Drake takes you out, you're like, that guy knew exactly what he was doing. Like, you know it.
Oh
each
yeah, yeah.
time.
You can see some of these. Like you've read people's
Yeah.
race
I mean,
reports.
I've had to suffer this at PMB in qualifying.
Oh yeah, you did, didn't you? But you earned that. You earned that. You earned that. You're rude.
Not really. I mean, I was on a good run. I passed him. Next corner,
You
he's
earned
straight
that.
into
Like,
me again.
come on. You knew you was gonna get taken out
How
by
do
Drake.
I mean,
Because you're JQ's,
I mean, yeah,
you're
I-
JQ.
yeah,
you was
I mean,
JQ's
I knew-
Padawan
I know-
at that point. He's like mini
yeah, but I didn't
JQ.
earn it. But like, I knew it was coming.
Of
but,
course,
like,
you knew it was
I
coming.
didn't
You
earn
earned
it,
it, you
though.
little punk. It's like, boom, get out of me. And when you're Adam Drake, you could do stuff like that. I guess.
Yeah, but I passed him first. I catched him, passed him, and he took me out next corner. But
I don't ever
mean, he
want to do
crashed
a
himself,
PMB
though.
with you again. You and I almost killed you that night because I was so angry at you. Then you
Yeah, he
almost
was freaking out.
but there was nothing compared to what you done the next day And that would have been
the next
ugly.
day?
Oh, when the whole drone incident happened and Bornhorst walked across the
Oh
pits
yeah, the average Joe.
and when you said that, I just went like this. Oh gosh.
But I mean, he got purely mad about that. I only made it
You
as like
think
joke.
I would have slapped you if you said something like that? If you would have said that, I would have been like, smack.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, he was still quite pissed off. I kind of understand him.
He was angry.
I was surprised though.
He wanted JB to say something. Spaniards just attack really aggressive for the most part. It just happens to overlap at the moments when they cross each other's paths, and it only looks aggressive to each other. Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
Look what JQ started. That was a good question, Corey. Very good question, actually.
But JP was actually pretty correct. It's like they're aggressive, attacking the track.
The words that come out of JQ and Max's mouth do not represent my words or words of the NNRC.
Yeah, but I mean, we're just being honest. And I mean, I'm not hating on anyone. People have their styles. And you respect everyone in their own way.
Oh my gosh. Any more questions? Because I'm having too much fun. So,
yeah.
I'm having fun.
I mean, yeah.
JQ wants to see.
JQ wants to call in.
No, he wants to chime in the chat, but didn't want to join for the live.
Yeah.
I haven't seen JQ in like weeks. I don't know what he looks like right now. He might be like.
Yeah, me neither, actually.
He hasn't had his camera on. He's like, oh, I can't use my camera. Like, what are you doing there that you can't use your camera? So, who knows? But it was a good show. Good show. We never do anything. Look, an hour and 30 minutes. We never do anything short. I'm hating on them. Well, we all know that, Joseph. Yeah,
I mean,
we all know that you and the Spanish Racing Association do not have a lot of good relationships, good relations.
By the way, Pineda and Gomez both.
You've been kicked out of a Spanish Nationals. You've caused Max to missed his final because, they made that rule specifically for Max. You and the Spanish Association really don't have much in common. I'm surprised you even allowed
they're fine now. But JQ is like they probably see JQ and just like
I don't even
instantly go to a depression or something.
I don't know how he's even allowed back into Spain, to be honest.
Yeah. I mean, maybe like the Spanish king gives JQ a ban from going to Spain.
Maybe. But at least he's getting excited. He's already talking about DNC now. So.
JQ?
Yeah.
DNC is like a half a year away.
I know, but got to start planning now.
Well, I guess.
All right. Well, I think that's it. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. We didn't get as many participants this week, but we started kind of early. Remember, guys, go check out Driven episode 3. Share the shit out of that. Also, check out our Linktree link that has all of our, actually, I'll post that up here. All of our, if you're interested in showing the supporters of the podcast some love, sponsors of the podcast some love. Hold on, what's this? You can find everything under our Linktree account right here, which I've done. Hold on, let me post it up. So what I've done is everything that we have to do with the podcast or anything like that. Now we have everything under this link tree, so you can get to most of our podcast apps, our YouTube channels, all of our sponsor links. We have the promo codes written there as well, so you can use them. And yeah, show the sponsors some love, showing the podcast some love. There's also the Patreon link in there if you guys feel extra generous. You could go in there. So everything's under that one link tree. It's always going to be in the written description on these podcasts, so you don't have to see a whole bunch of writing underneath it. Yeah, exactly what JB Speak says. Before you know it, the new year and DNC will be upon us. It's July, Max. Half the year is gone already. You're like, oh, it's 6 months away. Yeah, Christmas will be here soon. Maybe doing a Christmas show soon. Watch.
Next week, Christmas show?
Yeah, like it will feel like next week.
Okay.
All right, Max, thank you. Remember, guys, go check out Max's channel. Show him some love. I had one guy say that you need to change your profile picture on your YouTube. You look very suspect. So, let's get yourself a nice new banner made. Put some, It's the content that matters. You gotta wrap it up and make it look nice too.
Yeah, but like my style is very elegant. It's not like it's a certain style, you know.
It's not
that
elegant.
I'm going for.
I'm living up in the attic of my
elegant.
parents' room with all my trophies to my right hand side in a dark room and a camouflage hat.
Oh
Style.
yeah, well the setup is
No, I'm not
great.
talking about that, but I
trying
mean,
to make them.
you gotta get like a nice banner and a profile picture.
No,
not looking like an axe murderer.
That's too like. No. The idea is being an axe murderer. You know, that's like the style. An axe murderer knows how to set up your 8-scale car.
Okay, so that's what we do in Finland. In Finland, we train to be axe murderers.
Yeah, but like, yeah, you know, like sometimes you might think to yourself, why would I read a book or watch a video for 2 hours when I can just watch a video that's 10 to 15 minutes and learn much more in the process.
There you go.
That's why you go to my channel, check out my videos.
Yeah, let's get Max up to 1,000 subs. If you guys haven't hit the sub and like and notification button on the No Name RC podcast, please do that too. We need as many as we can get. And thank you to everybody that joined us. It was fun. It was a good live. And join us next week as we do our birthday bash, Wally and I's birthday bash. I don't know what's going to happen there. And looking like the Children of Bodom album cover. I didn't even know who that is. Must be
That's a Finnish metal band.
Okay. It would be.
I don't listen to
Finnish.
metal though. I listen to rock and I listen to some black metal, but that's very, very narrow field.
Cool. All right. Well, thank you everybody for joining us. Thank you to all the awesome sponsors of the podcast. They are Mayako, TNR Fuels, Hitec, Beach RC, Techno RC, JQ Racing, Sun City RC Raceway, Manscaped.com, Lugs RC, Racecraft USA, Papa Willie's Traction Tonic, RCGP, Wally Builds, RCMX, House of RC. Thank you guys for all this support. Thank you to all of the patrons that support us, and thank you to everybody that joins us and makes this all happen. We can't do it without you guys. I think that's it for tonight. We didn't do no fancy intros. We ain't doing no you know what? I think people like our exit song so much that we have to play it every time. Yeah, I think so. Max, anything to add before we sign out here?
Not really. Remember to have fun. You know, slow down, enjoy life.
Enjoy the journey.
I feel that. I need to remind myself of that once in a while.
Yeah, me too. It's summertime. You should enjoy it. Enjoy the summer.
Exactly.
You know, enjoy RC. Feel fortunate you can go race RC because you could be like me and you can't go, don't have anywhere to race, which I'm trying to help work on after the summer.
Or, you know, like I feel like Keenan has a hard time going anywhere.
See, and this is why we're going to end this podcast because you're getting rude. We just don't have on that. I'm trying to get the guys together to do that. But it's probably not going to be till after summer and things cool on her. So that's how that goes. Max, thank you for your time. Thank you, everybody. Remember, watch Driven episode 3, share it. We should have a podcast this week. I don't know. Me being sick yesterday affected that, but we shall see. If not, this live was pretty good, and I hope you guys enjoy this and we answer some questions. This might be this week's podcast. Who knows? Thank you for everything. Thank you for all the support. Check out that link in Linktree. Show the sponsors some support. Helps us out a lot. Hey, Nitro Is The Glory. E-Buggy pays the bills. Max and Lefty are out.
Thank you for listening to the No Name RC podcast. We greatly appreciate all the support and love from you, the listeners. Without all of you, none of this is possible. Special thanks to our patrons on Patreon. If you wish to support the podcast further, you can at patreon.com/NNRC podcast. As a patron, you will receive early releases, special content, and patron-only giveaways. Also, please follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and our website, www.nnrcpodcast.com. Remember, Nitro is the glory, but E-Buggy pays the bills. If you aren't having fun, it doesn't make sense. And if you ain't grinding, you're sliding. Lefty out. Nitro is the glory. Nitro is the glory. Nitro is the glory.
so bad.